UFC Noche Lopes versus Silva, and this is on AJ Let's Talk Sports. And also make sure you subscribe to all my latest content. And I am on a podcast and YouTube as well, so you can listen to both on the same for the same show. Now, instead of going, we're not going to do some news, we're not going to do anything else. What we do have, are you ready? Because I'm ready. The Who You Got segment. And that was from last week. We actually had 10 votes on this. The UFC Fight Night in Paris, France. Imavov versus Barallo. And that was a really good fight. And Imavov actually came out on top 60% to 40%. And he did get the win. It just seemed like Barallo was kind of quicksand in his feet. I don't know what he was doing. He just seems like that he was kind of stifled with Imavov's offense and countering ability and going first the whole entire time and pushing forward. And he just couldn't get over it. But it goes to decision. Imavov gets the win. And who's next for Khamzat Chimaev? Do you think Imavov is going to fight him next? We will see. All right, let's get into it. Quit playing around. We're going into the 5-legger. You can either choose to do a 5-leg parlay on these, or you can just do each fight accordingly. Santiago Border Boy Luna, 21 years old. Very, very young, but he is an undefeated pro fighter. All finishes via submission and or strikes. Check out his highlights. The kid is phenomenal. Mostly regional experience, though, so he doesn't have any UFC experience at all. Coming right in, UFC debut, and it was a short notice as well, within 2 weeks' notice. His strengths, finishing ability, momentum, possibly less pressure. Now, Kwang Bang Lee, he's 33. He's also more experienced, 9-2 in record. He's lost some, won others. Last outing, he got a submission via Gastelum Bolaños. More tested, especially in structured grappling, dealing with adversity. The fight is at a bantamweight fight, leaning towards Quan Lee, but it is a fairly close matchup. But we don't know how Luna is going to fight in the big stage for UFC and in San Antonio. So here are the main axes where this fight gets decided. So there's some favors here. Luna is young, maybe fresher. He's got less wear and tear. But fewer high-pressure fights, though. Like we said, this is his first fight in the UFC. Luna has shown he can finish fights in his run. He lands early or catches Lee off guard. He could close fast. Lee has shown durability and likely has a better sense of defense. Pacing, able to survive early storms and drag the fight into deep waters. Luna has submission wins in his background, but less data under pressure. We don't know. Against UFC-level grapplers, Lee has proven grappling in recent fights, likely to look to exploit the ground game if Luna is sloppy into striking. Luna may have raw power or unrefined striking, which could be dangerous. Sometimes fighters on short notice with momentum bring heavy pressure. Lee likely to counter, though, and manage range, weather early aggression, and make Luna uncomfortable if he tries to push too fast. Cardio should not be an issue, though. Unclear how Luna will do in later rounds, especially given less time to prepare. But he's 21. I don't think he will fatigue. More like to have the conditioning for 3 rounds used to the grind. Also, short notice fights tend to favor experienced fighters. That's a good key note there. Luna's stepping in on a short notice like we just talked about, but then 2 weeks. How good is Luna? We have no clue. How comfortable is Luna in his wrestling or grappling against someone tested like Lee? We don't know. How will Luna's camp versus Lee's preparation differ, especially with the short notice? Mental pressure debut for the UFC fighter. I would like to know the stats on this, but we just talked about it usually leans towards the more veteran fighters. Lee has a slight edge in terms of being more battle-tested. Luna is dangerous, especially early. So Lee's got to watch out for Luna in the first round. But Luna could probably knock him out. That's what I think. Some statistics Probabilities have Quan Lee winning by a decision or a possible submission, but I have Luna probably going to get some takedown defense here. You might be surprised how Luna can do some takedown defense, and he's going to get the KO in the first UFC debut for this kid. Santiago Luna at San Antonio, Texas, is going to get the Mexican crowd going crazy. All right, next, Kelvin Gastelum taking on Dustin Stoltzfus. Now, Gastelum's a longtime veteran. He's been around since 2013, 20-10 with no contest. Lots of experience and tough opponents. Check out his highlights. Now, his strengths, good boxing fundamentals. He's got solid defense. He's got good takedown defense. He's also really durable. But check out his weaknesses. He's got recent trouble, inconsistency. He's got recent losses. Sometimes struggles with opponents who push the pace or threaten grappling takedowns. Also, aging a little bit. He's less athletic upside versus earlier career. So he's kind of getting older in age, not really that old as of yet, but he's getting there, you can tell. Dustin Stoltzfus, 16-7, some by KO, more grappling inclinations, good submission record, plus striking, not just pure grappling, but has shown finishing instincts as well. Now, his weaknesses, he's less proven versus top-tier opponents. So this could be a spotty matchup here. Maybe vulnerable if opponents keeps the fight standing and pressures him. Will Gastelum keep it standing? We don't know. Here are some key matchup dynamics here. So, watch the striking versus stand-up. Gastelum has better defensive striking and more experience. If he can keep it on the feet and use boxing, counters, angle, spacing, he should do pretty well. Stoltzfus has respectable striking, but Gastelum's ability to avoid damage and stay composed could be a decisive factor. So, grappling and wrestling, offense and defense, Stoltzfus likely has upside here. Submission acumen and threat of takedowns. Ability to mix levels and force grappling engagements. Gastelum's takedown defense is decent, but if Stoltzfus can chain takedowns and threaten submissions, that could shift the momentum in this fight. What's on the line? Gastelum has been on a rough patch, losing 6 of his 9 in recent years, never stringing together wins, and his most recent performance was against Joe Pyfer, and it didn't inspire confidence. Stoltzfus likewise has ups and downs as well. He's had a mixture of finishes, but also losses, and sometimes doesn't do enough versus more seasoned competition. So Gastelum, a win here is pretty important to maintain relevance. Another loss can put him closer to being cut. So Stoltzfus, this is a chance to prove he can take out a notable name and make some noise in division. So I lean towards Kelvin Gastelum in this one. He has the experience, the striking defense, and durability to survive early grappling threats and drag the fight into places he's more comfortable. So the likely method goes to decision unless Gastelum can catch Stoltzfus early with something sharp or late with a counter. Stoltzfus has a clear path to winning with an aggressive grappling early, perhaps stalling Gastelum's rhythm, hunting submissions, making it messy. If he can do that, he can do the upset. But I got Gastelum picking it by decision. Next. So we got Rafa Garcia versus Jared Flash Gordon. Let's take out the gifted. He's 17-4. He's 31. He's got a 70-inch reach. He's got a grappling pressure wrestler. He does a lot of takedowns, presses forward, works control, and often grinds out longer fights. And he also has submission wins as well. Check out Jared Flash Gordon, 21-7. 37 years old. He's getting older. He's 68-inch reach. More of a striker. He's good volume, good boxing fundamentals, an experienced veteran. He can mix things up and has shown toughness and the ability to hang in with various styles. So check out the takedown wrestling. Garcia lands more takedowns per 15 minutes, has a higher takedown accuracy as well. Gordon has recent takedown defense, but overall less success offensively here. So if Garcia can impose wrestling early, he can neutralize Gordon's striking. If not, Gordon can stand up and will dominate in the striking. So volume and accuracy, less dangerous on pure striking, doesn't have big knockout power. So striking often used to set up a takedowns, higher output striking, better accuracy, more clean shots on the feet. But if Gordon overcommits, he might get taken down or pressured heavily. Also, strikes alone may not be enough if the fight is dragging to the mat. So let's check out some keys to victory here for Garcia. Close the distance early, pressure, secure takedowns, avoid long striking exchanges, possibly look for submissions or stay busy with ground and pound control to win rounds and dominate. So Gordon's path, keep the fight standing as much as possible. Use crisp striking in combinations. Use lateral movement, angles, footwork to avoid takedown entries. Maintain high volume and accuracy to rack up rounds. Stay mentally sharp and manage his cardio, as pushing pace versus Garcia's wrestling in early rounds could be draining. So what's at risk here? If Garcia gets his wrestling going early, he might dominate rounds and possibly even get a submission. That makes this a dangerous fight for Gordon. Now, Gordon's defenses for his takedowns will be heavily tested. If he gets tired or sloppy, Garcia could win ground control. Cardio might play a factor here. Garcia would want to slow things down, and Gordon needs to avoid being dragged into deep waters with wrestling scrambles and to drain him. So I have Jared Flash Gordon. I always pick the older veterans. 38 years old, the vet gets the dub with his takedown defense. Next, Rob Font versus David Martinez. Rob Font, he is the veteran, was originally matched with Raul Rosas Jr., but Rojas had to withdraw due to a rib injury if you didn't know that. So Font's new opponent coming in, David Black Spartan Martinez. Font is also 38. He's long in a tooth for bantamweight, but has recently put together a couple of wins. Martinez is younger. He's only 27. 11 years to be exact. Relatively new to the UFC, but made a strong impression, and he got his contract on the Contender Series, then scored a first-round knockout in his professional debut. So, Font, Martinez, record 22-8, UFC experience, many fights versus high-level competition, 12-1, more limited UFC experience, but strong finishing rate. This is Font versus Martinez here. So here, there's got some reach here. So Font has a reach advantage at 71 in reach, and he's got a height with 5'8". Martinez is shorter with only 5'5" and short reach at 67. Striking output and accuracy, Font averages 5.49 significant strikes landed, and his accuracy at 46%. Absorbs only 3.6%. Martinez lands at a 5.4%. Higher accuracy at 52%. Absorbs fewer at 2.7%, but good defense strikes attributes. So his grappling takedowns, Font has some grappling takedown average at 0.79 per 3 rounds, takedown accuracy at 34%, and his takedown defense is at 42%. But Martinez is much more striking oriented. He's got low to no offensive grappling recorded. Very strong takedown defense, though, at 100% so far. And again, he's only had one fight in the UFC. But what to watch for in Font? Use his reach, boxing, and variety to keep Martinez at a distance. Volume striking from outside will help. Avoid getting in exchanges where Martinez's power or counter striking can do some damage. Mix in his grappling when possible. Even if Font isn't a dominant wrestler, forcing Martinez to defend takedowns could disrupt rhythm and reduce Martinez's striking effectiveness. That's like they always talk about during the fight. Act like you're just going to go for a takedown. You don't even need to go and try to push for it and take him down. Conserve your energy. Make him think, mix up levels. Leverage his veteran experience and longer rounds. Managing pace and fatigue may favor him if he can avoid being overwhelmed early. Now, Martinez, he has to stay upright. Avoid takedowns or clinch tie-ups. He's got to use high accuracy, striking accuracy. He's got to keep active at a high level, but he got to be smart. Possibly go for early finishes as well. Martinez's power and knockout history mean that an early finish could tilt his favor. But Font's strengths here, experience, reach, size, and edge. Volume striker, has survived wars and knows how to fight in later rounds. But his weaknesses here is age, 38. But I'm going to give it to him. Slower recovery, possibly diminished speed as well. Martinez's strengths, he's young. He's got a finishing ability. He's got clean strike accuracy. He's defensive striking, which helps limit damage taken. So Martinez's weaknesses, though, he's got less experience versus high-level opponents, might struggle with pressure or wrestling. We're going to lean towards Rob Font here. His experience gives him tools to navigate danger. He's been in fights where he's had to manage adversity, pace, and pressure. Even though Martinez's power and accuracy are impressive, he hasn't yet fought a veteran such as Font. So Font's reach and ability to maintain volume might allow him to outpoint Martinez. However, Martinez has a solid path to an upset, though. Here's some key matchups here. If he starts explosively and lands early clean shots, he could potentially finish Font. Now, if Font shows signs of slowing down or trends to commit mistakes under pressure, Martinez could capitalize. But I have Rob Font in this one. Give me back-to-back 38 years old. And here we go. Here is our main event of the evening. UFC Noche Lopes versus Silva. Here we go. Taking a look at his background. Diego Lopes, 26-7, is coming off of a title fight loss to Alexander Volkanovski in April of 2025. Before that, he had a 5-fight win streak, beating names such as Brian Ortega, Dan Ige, and Sodiq Yusuff. Now, Jean Silva, he is a riding high on a win streak here with finishes in nearly every fight. He's made waves in a division with an aggressive style. The fight is a 5-rounder, though, so big stakes. A win here could put Silva into title contention. Lopes is looking to bounce back after losing his title shot. The betting odds are going towards Silva, though. It's going back and forth here. It could be a pick'ems fight once it closes. But you remember, Lopes with Volkanovski, it seemed like he wasn't ready. Was he not ready for the big lights? Did it all catch up to him? We'll see. And after that experience, I think he's going to come out really hot. By the way, let's take a look at these fighters. So Diego Lopes, good grappling, jiu-jitsu, resilient. He's good cardio. Has fought elite competition. Also uses pressure. He's also a tall fighter. For featherweight, he's 5'11" with a long reach. He's got striking defense. Is a concern, though. He's absorbed a lot of strikes per minute. Some metrics suggest his defensive striking is less developed. He had to work on that. Hopefully his camp as well. It's been almost a year now. Also, fewer finishes comparatively. If the fight stays standing versus a strong finisher, it's risky. Submissions per 15 minutes. He's got 1.9 strikes absorbed, 4.7 minutes striking accuracy, middling, and then takedown offense, moderate but not overwhelming. So taking a look at Jean Silva, he's got a high finishing rate, knockout and submissions. He's got strong striking, good accuracy, high volume, excellent takedown defense. This helps when he's keeping fight where he wants it. So momentum is strongly on his side, aggressive. He's potentially vulnerability if the fight drags into deep waters, though, and if Lopes can mix grappling well and avoid Silva's initial flurries, Silva may not have as much experience in 5-round main events versus highest-ranked opponents. So Silva's path to victory. Got to use his striking early and often. He's got to use his movement in great angles. He's got to look for finishing maybe in the first and second rounds. And he's got to manage his energy. That is the main concern for Jean Silva coming into this fight with all of his wins. And also, notably, Cian Barallo last week take an L in which he hasn't seen ever in his career for the fighting nerds. Lopes's path to victory. Try to impose his grappling. Use his reach, size to keep Silva from unloading uncomfortably. He's got to be very durable and he's got to survive the onslaught. Use later rounds if he can drag Silva into deep waters. Just physically dominate him on the ground or in the clinch. The edge seems to be slightly tilted toward Jean Silva, though. However, Lopes is live if the fight goes into later rounds or if Silva lets his aggression work against him. Now, I'm actually going towards, I know that a lot of people are going towards Silva. It's going to go back and forth here, but I kind of like Diego Lopes. I think he learned from the experience against Alexander Volkanovski in that title fight, and he's probably going to be either, I think he might even come out swinging, come out strong, or he's going to try to take a takedown early. So watch out for that. But Lopes could pull off an upset via grinding, grappling, or surviving early and turning it into a decision game. So he's going to probably drag Jean Silva into deep waters. Silva, like I said, it could be getting him to mentally seeing Barallo lose. I'm just saying, I got Diego Lopes wins in this one in San Antonio UFC Noche. He's already been in one UFC Noche fight. He's going to go into another one. All right, there it is. Love you guys. God bless. Tip the waitress.